The Nintendo 64 is one of Nintendo's most infamous consoles for what it did wrong. It used cartridges in an era where games were going on CD-ROMs, it had a powerful rival on its back because of itself, and it landed Nintendo their first loss in the console wars, being beaten by Sony's PlayStation. Even after all these problems, Nintendo made up for it in the games released and the console variants. Today, we will take a look at the rarest Nintendo 64 console variants. Firstly, let's lay down some rules and guidelines for it to be on the list. Firstly, add-ons don't count. Secondly, no systems that have no evidence supporting the existence or purchase of it. Thirdly, no bundles which are just the normal charcoal system with a game packaged in. Fourthly, no custom-made consoles made by fans. Fifthly, no unreleased variants. And finally, no consoles which just have a sticker on the expansion port. Some honorable mentions for this rarest list that don't meet the guidelines are the following. Firstly, Nintendo 64 DD. This is an add-on for the Nintendo 64, not a console variant. Secondly, the Ultra 64 prototype, which was never released. Even though people have said an Ultra 64 is out there somewhere, there is no evidence to support that rumor. Thirdly, the Lawson J-League Edition, which is the rarest of all these systems, but was just a sticker on the expansion port. The same is said for the fourth honorable mention, the ANA Edition. Our last honorable mention is the Comboy 64. It is pretty just a sticker on the expansion port, just with some Korean translations for the buttons. Now, it's time we dive into the list of forgotten rarity. First on the list is the fantastic Watermelon Red console. If you don't know, the Fantastic series was a series of Nintendo 64 consoles released around the late 90s in North America and Europe, with some, not all, of the consoles releasing in Japan. These consoles were often transparent with a different color for the shell of the system. The rarest of these consoles is the Watermelon Red. The Watermelon Red console didn't come with a game, so consumers may have purchased the much less rare Jungle Green Edition, which came packaged with Donkey Kong 64. What matters today is the price for this bad boy. This system would cost someone around $120 loose, but if you want the complete box, you will need to pay around $235. I would say that if you like the Fantastic series, or the color red, then this system is worth a purchase. Next on the list is the Pikachu Special Edition. These consoles were released to celebrate the launch of Hey You Pikachu and features a giant Pikachu atop a slightly wider Nintendo 64 console. The reset button has been replaced by Pikachu's foot and the power button has been replaced by a Pokeball. The design of these systems are much radically different to any other Nintendo 64 console, which makes it special, but that is not why it is rare. I believe that nobody wanted to buy a Nintendo 64 for Hey You Pikachu and didn't buy it during the time it was released, and the console became a collectible when the internet started to become much more mainstream, with YouTube videos to learn all about the obscure consoles time had forgot. If you want one of these consoles, you will need to pay around $160 loose, or $240 for a complete in-box sale. As this is the oddball of the console variants, I would recommend picking this up, since there is truly no other console like it. We're sticking with the Pokémon theme for the third console on the list, when we take a look at the Australian Pokémon Stadium Edition. This console is much less radical when it comes to the design. It has the normal console size, as well as the normal buttons. The only things added to this system were a new color palette, and some Pokémon stickers. My theory as to its rarity is that not many people were interested in Nintendo in PAL regions, as Nintendo consoles didn't sell as well as home computers or other competitors at the time due to poor marketing and bad prices. Why would anyone in Australia, a PAL region, want to buy a console that is doing poorly? Let alone one that is radically different, and features a game not many PAL players would care about. The price for this system is $150 loose, and $350 complete in box. The fourth console on the list is the Clear Red system. The clear red system was an alternative to the watermelon red system talked about before. I will be very brief with this segment, as it is not much different to the one before. It features a clear red top shell and a solid white bottom shell. The price for this system is $100 loose, and $350 complete in box. The fifth console on this list is the Golden Console. These consoles were sold in Japanese stores, and as a Toys R Us exclusive in the United States. No, these were not real gold, but they were still cool. These were sold for a very short time, which may be the reason for its rarity. The price for a loose console is $110, but for a complete in-box console, you would be paying up to $440. I would say that the loose console is worth it, but getting a complete in-box console is too much for a Nintendo 64 simply coated in gold coloring. The sixth console on the list is the Daihawks console. These consoles were exclusively sold in Dai stores in Japan. Dai is a Japanese supermarket brand. The console features a clear orange top, and a solid black bottom. If you want one of these consoles, you will be looking to pay $200 loose, but if you want a complete in-box edition, you will be needing to pay up to $850. Personally, I don't think the console is worth it at any price given. You could make a custom Daihawks system easily with parts from the fantastic Fire Orange and the classic Charcoal console. Now, we are finally on to the rarest Nintendo 64 console. The Juska console. These systems were sold to celebrate the 30th anniversary of a store named Juska recently rebranded to Eon in Japan. This console is very similar to the Daihawks system, featuring a purple top and a white bottom. The prices for this one are much bigger than before. If you want a loose console, you will be paying $250, but the complete in-box console is outrageously expensive. You would have to pay up to $1,500 for a complete in-box system. I think that it is not worth it. Like before, it's easy to make a custom Juska console, but if you want the complete collection, buy this console, as it is the rarest after all. Thank you all for watching and goodbye.